More money, more money, more money.
Okay, we're installing an amp on here. Just a small one, but 300 watts, but that's enough, I think, for a motorcycle. I'm kind of enjoy just listening to the pipes, but sometimes you don't. Anyway, there is my fuse. This runs in onto the battery and then goes up under the tank through the wiring harness, which is a lot of fun to get to. One thing I am pleased with is Harley has started putting on that quick release fuel hose, fuel line there. That's simple. I like that a lot. But anyway, this fuse will run up, feed the amp. Also, you can see there, that is also where I keep my cord up underneath the side cover for my tune-ups, my TTS tuner. Now, I haven't got much. This is the ground. I want my ground as close to the battery as possible. The grounding deal for the battery was harder to get to, but this is awfully close. And I ran the ground wire and the positive wire all the way up through your wiring harness protector, all the way up into there. Now then, the wires will come out right here. This will feed it. Now the amp I got says it needs a 10 gauge wire. That's what this is. This should go right in there and feed the outer fairing is easy to take off. You only have 3 screws up here, which holds your windshield on also. You have 1 screw here, and then you have 1 right there. Now, I knew I had that many. I watched all the other videos. I read the instructions. I have a owner's manual, which you'd be a fool not to if you're going to work on your bike. But I couldn't find the 2 down on the lower. Right there. I hunted and I hunted and I hunted. Then I come to find out, once I get it all cockeyed around in a mirror and everything else, somebody had already removed them. Because they are kind of a bitch to put back in there, and I guess they never put them back. Anyway, that's where the screws are for you that are going to try this. There are 7. 3, 2, and then 2 down there, unless somebody's taking it out. What they don't tell you on all these installations is you have a CB mounted right here. So if you want to keep your CB, you got to move it, because that's where just about all of them put the amp. That's where I'm going to put the amp. So I had to move the CB unit, and that's it right here. I had to make a bracket. It goes there, comes down and under, and up over to there. Then I screwed it to the mount there. It's solid. It ain't going nowhere, but trust me, that was a pain in the butt to get all them angles perfect. And you know me, I do everything. Well, as you can see, that's the old speaker. This will be the new speaker. It's a kicker. It's supposed to bolt right on. A little larger magnet, 4 ohm. Let's see what the part number on this is. Follow me. Right there's the part number, if anybody's interested. But anyway, these are going to go in, and I think that'll make a big difference. They come with all this stuff, which you won't need, because you will bolt them right here, and everything will fit right behind there. You never know they were there. Anyway, that's what's going on next. This is a good idea, by the way. Keeps from scratching your fairing. Good use for my old socks. I have installed one of the speakers. I don't have the amp or anything yet, but I put the speaker on. I wanted to hear the difference just the way it is. So I've just connected it just like that. And I turned it on. And when I turned it on, I got this noise that I couldn't understand what it was. And I thought, well, it sounded like a cracked speaker or something. But I started listening, and it was just that I could hear all the tunes of the different instruments being played. So I know you won't be able to hear the difference on here, but we'll give it a shot. It is a better speaker. I can hear, like I said, you can hear the horns, you can hear everything in it. And this one is good. The Harley one is good. Turn that down a little bit. It is a tad bit better because you can hear all the higher pitches. Not going to be able to hear it on the camera. People that film their stereos on the camera, it's totally a waste. You can't really tell what's going on, but it is different. I am pleased with it, so we will go ahead and do that. But one more thing about the speaker here. This magnet is bigger. I did have to bend that right there. You can see it. To let the magnet come in. No problem. Bolted right up the way it's supposed to. Good and secure. So that's one speaker down. One more on the way. Or I'll do it today, and supposedly my amp will be here today. We may start on it. Depends on what time it gets here. Speaker. Well, I've got the other speaker installed, and this is one thing I wanted to tell you. If you ever have a noise in your fairing, the older bikes especially, I don't know about these newer ones, but the older ones, this mount would break. They may have replaced these with better mounts now, but if you have a rattle, that would be the first place to look. Pop your fairing off and check it out. I had to replace mine on my 2000. Anyway, now we're waiting for the amp. After reading the instructions, I decided to move the ground wire from here and hook it right up to the battery. So anyway, I changed that. That's all I've changed from everything else I put on the video. But it is installed. The wiring was not quite long enough, but I had speaker wire, so I just spliced it on. Once again, I always use shrink wrap, as you can see here. And here I used, because it said it needed venting, so I put Velcro underneath here. That Velcro will hold a lot of stuff. I've had it hold stuff on the back of my pickup, even out in the weather. And this ain't going nowhere, bolted under here, and it's got airflow underneath. So I'm happy with that. I've hooked it all up. Everything seems to work right. It was a lot of wire soldering, but everything went together. I would show you what it's like as far as volume, fader, sound, and all that. But recording it, it don't sound like the real thing. I don't care what kind of stereo system you put in there. You put it through a camera and then out through speakers, it don't sound like it does when you're standing by it. So I'm not even going to turn it on. It's a waste of time. But it does sound better to me. Is it worth the money? I don't know. I'll know that once it's buttoned up and I'm going down the road. But once again, it gave me something to do. So it's done. I'll button it up and take some videos later of everything.